Now to discuss this is president and co-founder of CFACT, Craig Rucker. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, pleasure to be on the program. This is great news.
I live in New Jersey, where Governor Phil Murphy created something called Next New Jersey, which basically was his idea to shift the state from traditional power, natural gas, coal, nuclear, to wind and solar. Our rates have done nothing but skyrocket. And Mikey Sherrill says she's going to put an end to it, but she means she's going to lay on the energy producers and try to have grant programs, not actually produce more energy.
And that has been the story of wind farms for a long time. Absent the subsidies, they just don't work. And Biden, during his administration, had this very ambitious plan of rolling out 30,000 megawatts, and particularly in offshore wind off the east coast of the United States. And as of right now, after Trump has come in, of the, you could look at it in gigawatts too, 30 gigawatts, they're now down to about 6 or 7. So this has been an abysmal failure as the Trump administration has lined up against the Green New Deal fairly effectively. On day one of Trump's inauguration, he basically came out and signed an executive order saying he wasn't going to go with wind. And since that time, all of his actions have really hammered this industry, which it should have been. And really, it's not cost competitive. It relies on subsidies. It hurts fisheries and a lot of the coastal communities that rely on tourism and the like. And so I think the president's doing the country a favor.
What do you want to bet they weren't going to build those wind farms in Massachusetts where people in Martha's Vineyard and Chappaquiddick can see them?
Well, they've tried in the past, and it's been very unsuccessful. A number of these projects got underway when Trump came into office, and there's a few hangers on. One of them is in Massachusetts, so it's good to see them with this lawsuit. But Vineyard Wind, is still trying to move forward. It has about under a gigawatt of power wind turbines planned. You have several off the coast of New York that probably come to about 2 gigawatts, and a giant one, Dominion Energy, at 2.5 gigawatts scheduled to go off of Virginia. So while there has been a lot of damage done to the offshore wind industry, there are a few stragglers that remain persistent, and I hope the administration starts targeting these too.
When I over the years, different episodes of different programs, we've discussed this, and just doing my own research, I don't think the average consumer is aware of how much land, when they put them on land, is required for a single, commercial industrial wind turbine, and what it actually costs the environment. It's not like you just stick it in the ground. There has to be a massive, massive concrete footing. These turbines have to be placed 7 to 14 rotor diameters separate from one another, so the turbulence, they don't kill each other. It's not like this. You just put up a couple of turbines and everything's fine. You need a massive amount of land that's either taking land away from reservation, forests, green space, farming land, residential area. And there's only so much distance you could have to send that power. And you'll never be able to power a city like New York City on this. You need the entire rest of the state just to probably get half of New York City up and running.
Oh, my goodness, no. I mean, wind power is diffuse by its very nature, and you find that in order to retire a gas plant, you quite often have to plow over about 10 square miles to put in an equivalent wind farm of some size. And these are intermittent energy sources. On land, wind probably produces what it claims it'll produce about 25% of the time. Offshore, it probably is about 35% of the time. But we can see what this is doing because there's countries that have already gone full bore with this. You look at the highest energy prices in the world, and I think Department of Transportation Secretary Duffy made this comment. You're looking at a place like Denmark where they're paid 40, 50 cents a kilowatt hour. America's used to about 12 cents, 15 cents a kilowatt hour in many places. You're talking 2-3 times the electricity rates. And of course, they're hemorrhaging jobs in Germany and England. They're going to places like China. And the environmental impacts we haven't even touched on. I mean, you're talking about literally millions of birds getting sliced and diced, many of them endangered species, golden eagles, which are a protected bird by the Bald Eagle Protection Act in the North American Bird Treaty. They're getting killed in great numbers out in the places like Wyoming, and you have whales off the coast.
I was just going to say, what's the effect on whales if you have all
they're putting these wind turbines 15 to 30 miles off the coast. This is in the migratory path of some 30 different whale species, one critically endangered called the right whale, that actually is down to about 350 or so. So I think that Trump may go down as one of the greatest environmental presidents, and he's doing this by getting rid of so-called green energy, which is anything but environmentally friendly.
I'm old enough to remember the T-shirt "Nuke the Whales." If you remember that, it's funny. I keep saying it. If Donald Trump signed an executive order to protect the whales, the Democrats would grab the harpoons. I mean, if he came out and said, "I'm ending these offshore wind turbine projects to protect the whales," the Democrats would start talking about how it's cultural to go whaling, whether it be the Japanese or the Inuits or whatever it was. They would find a way to justify whaling at that point.
And, I think it's a shameful thing that the major environmental groups are not out there. I mean, you have a lot of grassroots environmentalist groups actually supporting what Trump's doing, but you have many of the major ones, the Sierra Clubs and the NRDCs and others, that are taking the wrong position on this. Leave alone the fact that these wind turbine blades are not recyclable. A lot of the components come from rare earths that are mined in places like the Congo, where they use child labor, or in China, where they use slave labor. It's just absolutely mind-boggling to think that the green movement has lost its soul this much, that they're actually, advocating for an energy source that is really just, destroying the planet. They're for the industrialization of our oceans.
Well, it's also, you think a little bit of it is, some of these people don't care as long as they still find a way to feel morally superior. Right? Oh. Like I'm driving my EV. I'm a better person than you. Yeah. Doesn't matter where the components for the battery comes from. I'm a better person. I'm morally superior. I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it's very discouraging. However, on a good note, I will say many of the grassroots groups, we at CFACT actually work with a number of them, that are even on the left, have come over and are aghast at what the mainstream environmental groups are doing and have joined Trump and are very much cheering him on at this. This latest thing that the Trump administration done of $679 million. I mean, this is really going to kill probably the Humboldt offshore wind facility in California. It's going to even hit the Dominion Wind Energy. They got $39 million targeted for a port to get big cranes in there to try and put up these offshore wind things. This will be killed. So I think they're killing them by 1,000 cuts. But I think ultimately we will see a good thing in America, hopefully go back to fossil fuels, nuclear power, hydropower, things that are proven energy sources that can really power America into the future.
Well, like I say it every time we do this topic, if the French could do it, and if the French can do it, we can do it. And the Democrats think the French are superior in every way. I'll give you the last 10 seconds.
Well, I think that, as I say, the Trump administration has said what it meant. It's come in with a new agenda to try and power America into the future. It's succeeding in that. And I think people should rest well tonight, knowing that the country's on the right course.
All right. Thanks for the time tonight.